Meshes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the call meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners, December 29, 2022. Appreciate you all being here. If you don't mind, do the invocation for me right quick. You got it. And then we'll do the pledge. You want me to pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah. We need you on me in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to be here to do the business of the citizens of the city of Griffin, Spalding County. Keep us united as a team for the betterment of this community. Keep our decisions for the greater good of all. In your name, amen. All right, we got to need to approve the agenda with the amendment. The amendment is the motion that we need to amend the agenda to add an executive session. So I need a motion to second amend the agenda to add the following item pursuant to CGA section 501421 for the purpose of consulting with legal counsel pertaining to potential litigation regarding the unresolved tax inequities in the recently submitted Griffin Spalding service delivery strategy that will not be resolved through loss negotiations based on the most recent offer from the county of 37% at 4:34 this afternoon. Do we have a motion to amend the agenda? Second. Thank you. And do we have a motion and a second to go into executive session based on that? The motion by Commissioner Tinsley, second by Commissioner Murray. All in favor, please raise your hand and join us.
The last time.
We have a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Tenzer, the motion, second by Commissioner Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 6-0. Okay. Thank you all for being here tonight. I know you'd much rather be with your families at this time. So we have, as a community, have been, and as two boards have been deliberating this case for the past 6 months. It hasn't just come up the last 6 months because this goes back several decades. And we had informed the county when we approved the SDS in 2017 that we were going to negotiate the loss distribution in a fair and balanced manner. And again, we continue to debate that issue. The county had given us a step-down proposal before that we rejected and countered to keep the loss at its current 40.5%, 59.5% split. And if we had accepted that step-down basis, it would have cost the city over a 10-year period, not with the appreciation of the revenue, in excess of $3.5 million over a 10-year period. And the latest offer that the county has proposed to the city of Griffin is a 37-63% split, and that puts it well in excess of $4 million, not taking into account the appreciation of lost dollars over the next 10 years. And, you know, it's, when you look back at what we as a city have done in this community, in terms of the infrastructure that we have put our money where our mouth is, you look at what we've put in at Potato Creek Treatment Plant. We spent over $19 million to make sure that Spalding County and Griffin had sewer capacity for the industrial park expansion. We spent over $16 million at the Cabin Creek Basin treatment plant on the backs of the shareholders of the city of Griffin to make sure that we have sewer capacity for the future of Griffin and Spalding County. And right now, we are handcuffed in regards to the Shoal Creek Basin because we generously allowed sewer to be expanded outside the boundaries of the city limits for economic development into unincorporated Spalding County. And now we're looking at trying to figure out how do we expand and bring our current Shoal Creek plant into current EPD standards at the excess of somewhere between $80 and $120 million into the future. Yet the shareholders, the people that the ratepayers are the ones that continue to have to pay the price to make sure that we keep moving our community forward. When you look at the industrial park, you look at the jobs that have been created. This was a mill town, basically almost 10,000 employees at Dundee Springs, and we have been able to diversify our community. You look at our central business district, I was just looking through our reports, and we continue to add more businesses and more jobs and more opportunities and more tax base and tax revenue. We keep spending our hard-earned shareholders' money for the greater good of this community. And it burns my heart that our partner, our dance partner, Spalding County, continues to think that we are taking advantage of them. Just the other day, I was driving to Pike County to play soccer, and a City of Griffin fire truck went zooming past me at Rose's Shopping Center, responding to an accident on Zebulon Road outside the city limits. Our first responders are there first. I see how we continue to make a difference for the quality of life for the Griffin and Spalding County, a place that we all would live, learn, work, play, and hopefully one day retire. So it's just very frustrating, and I'm very appreciative of our staff and this team of how we've stuck together, and especially our employees who are the foundation of what happens in this community every day, whether it's putting out salt on Christmas Day, or whether they're out there fixing water lines on Christmas Day or the day off, or whether they're out being first responders, helping folks on holidays and on weekends. There's so many folks that work so hard to give us the quality of life that we appreciate as citizens of Griffin and Spalding County. So would anybody else like to make any comments?
Well, first of all, let me say that I want the record to show, want to be very clear, crystal clear, that our city manager has worked for us, specifically what we have discussed, the number we feel is fair. She's articulated our thoughts. She's not been out here willy-nilly on her own. She's kept us informed of every meeting she's attended. She has kept us informed of every letter, every email, every text message to let us know what's going on so that we can have an educated decision that we're making. We've had people, and I'm not calling names, but in the audience, send some great letters to help us, to give us better options, understanding. So we've been getting information from all around. This last offer to me, and I don't do negotiations well because I got a number, and that's what it is. I mean, all this haggling is not when I'm playing with people's lives. This is not buying a car. We're talking about the livelihood of our community, of our employees, our greatest resource. And I'm not into a playing mood when it comes to that. So everybody else get a chance to speak for themselves. I'm willing to agree. And I gotta say, I'm sorry, but I gotta say, reiterate what Doug said. They made a best and final offer last week of 37.8% over 10 years. That would be our portion of the lost tax. So now they come back tonight at 37%. That's going further. Instead of going up to give us a better number, they're going down. Tonight, we're at 40.5. I'm willing to go to 60-40, and that's it. And I think that we have kicked this ball around long enough. There are lives at stake. This lost is at stake. The local option sales tax is at stake, and we're here at the 11th hour. This is not settled tomorrow by 5 o'clock. We will lose lost. And I think there may be, and this is just my opinion, that there are some people who want to have hosts in our community. The experts that spoke to both the city and county, that ACCG, GMA, did 2 presentations, and they both sound pretty much the same. That there are only 2 counties in the state of Georgia that has hosts. And for our community to even to consider that, for people that's willing to do that to our community, says a lot about what they think about the city citizens, to those who don't own their homes. And I, for one, I can't stand for that. So I'm willing, as one vote, to go 60-40. And that means that's 60 for the county and 40 for the city. So again, I appreciate the staff on their hard work, and they have not went out and did anything without the blessings of the elected officials. They have not did anything out of emotion and out of not doing homework. Everything that we talked about, as they say at Rise and Start, my church, I got Bible to back it up. When they present a number to the county, we have something to back it up with. We got some numbers, we got facts that we're pulling from. It's not that we're gonna throw a number out of the sky and just pull this number, this would be a good number. We got facts and numbers to back it up. So I commend the staff on the job that they have done in this process, and I appreciate the citizens who have come to our aid to understand what we're going through. And I also appreciate all the employees, the ones represented here tonight, and those who couldn't be here tonight, understand that what we're trying to do to make working here worthwhile. So 60-40 is my number. That's where I stand.
I just want to say quickly.
Go ahead.
I feel like the county has not negotiated in good faith. They never intended to negotiate with us in good faith. I started, the day that we started the negotiations, the county commissioner, the county manager came in and said, oh, we're not gonna negotiate. This has been over 6 months ago. We're not going to negotiate loss because we're going to do a host. That was the first the city had ever heard anything about it. So their intention has not been to negotiate with us on loss, period. I've been here 21 years and I've been through, this is the third loss negotiation. And we came from like maybe 39 to 41. We had to really work hard. The city has always been double taxed. Like I said, the county, it's not been their intention, and this goes back to service delivery and all of that, but the county for years, the city provided a pool for inner city children. And we spent almost $100,000 a year, every year, which over a 10-year period was $1 million, to provide a pool that benefited tax-wise. It didn't benefit the city, but it was something that the county should have been doing. We've always done more than what we should have done or could have done. We had to hire staff, we had to do a whole bunch of stuff. But when it came time for the SPLOST and for the county to take over to do the pool, they build the pool. They are building the pool. Now they're telling us that they're going to have to padlock the pool because they don't have money for staff. The citizens voted for the pool with the SPLOST, but now they're telling us that they can't open a pool because they're not going to have staff. That's not our fault that they have not been good stewards over what they were getting from the citizens. So now what I feel like is they want to punish us and our employees and our citizens because they have not been good stewards over the money that they got. They didn't plan well. It was a lot of things that they didn't do. But we shouldn't have to bear the burden of where they didn't do what they needed to do. One other thing I wanted to say was, we only employ us, 7 of us. We employ one person. That's Jessica O'Connor. She is the only person that we can tell what to do. She can do what we tell her to do and not do what we tell her not to do. So I am just totally offended when someone says that I've been sitting here 20 years, that I don't have sense enough to tell her what to do. Or that we don't know what's going on enough that Jessica is running us. That's a slap in my face, and it's a discredit to Jessica, for what she does. If she did try to defend us or defend our employees or our citizens, then she's overstepping and she's acting out of emotions. But when we did Jessica's evaluation, we told her that's what we wanted her to do. She is doing exactly what we told her we wanted her to do. When she spoke up for us at the county commissioner meeting, that was because we told her that's what we wanted to do. So I want to make sure that they understand that Jessica is doing what we say do, not what she chooses to do.
Thank you, Mr. Ward.
You got a number,
Ms.
Ms.
Murray?
I got a number of what?
What you like?
Oh, what like?
Ms. Murray?
Well, there's nothing I can do to talk about it, so thank you, Commissioner Ward. No, I do want to say, Jessica, thank you. You've been an amazing spokesperson, and this was just my first time going through a loss. I mean, we've got, thank you to your leadership, because we have people on the team who've been through this before, so they've been great educators to me. This has been, it's very, very challenging, the negotiations, where I just want the citizens and employees to know this has been an attempted negotiation as far as this team here. I mean, before we met tonight, there was an offer on the table that was supposed to be the best, and as you can see tonight, the numbers have even changed. So I feel that I can't go along with any agreement here on this agreement or this offer right now, because it is not fair to the citizens, it's not fair to our employees, it is not fair to the business owners, because the money just gets dispersed somewhere else. And that's not, I feel like, fiscally responsible. I'm gonna go with 60-40, which is 0.5 less than the negotiation that we are at now, because I feel that in negotiations like this, I was hoping to put the city at a better advantage. I look at, this is the epicenter. I look at the city limits, that is where your trade and commerce is. I look at, if you all know, a study was done probably a decade ago, between the hours of 10 and 2, there's over 100,000 people in the city limits. If you all know that, I mean, that's probably grown. So how on earth are we gonna provide services and protection and keep the infrastructure going? And it goes on, but no, I cannot agree to anything less than what would be beneficial and better for our city and for our employees and for our businesses.
Mr. Brock?
Wow, this is my first time with this, and I'm still shocked that we even got involved with something like this 10 years, 20 years ago. But we've got to do something productive without hurting Spalding County or the city of Griffin. Quit, emphasize quit fighting each other. We should be together as a team. We're not. I don't know what the answer to the question is, but as we stand right now, the 40-60 is the best we can do. Still having a hard time swallowing this. I'll go with 40-60.
Thank you, Mr. Brock. Mr. Tinsley?
I would also say I would go with 40-60, but I don't really believe that the county wants to negotiate policy. They want to host a program for Spalding County. There's 159 counties in the state of Georgia. There's only 2 that have a host program. If it's so great, it's pretty obvious everybody would have it, right? But no, only 2 counties. So that's Rockdale and I believe DeKalb County. That's only 2. If we're not in stand, they regret having that, because it causes your property tax to go down a little bit, but their taxes for business and everything skyrocket. So guess what happens to the businesses? Bye. We're not staying here. We can't afford it. You know, I just don't believe that the county is willing to negotiate in good faith with the city. I would encourage you to contact your county commissioner. Everybody has one in here. I've contacted mine, and the response I got from the individual was 10-4. Well, that 10-4 I think means okay. He never contacted me. I contacted him twice, so I never got a response from him. So I would encourage you to go online, email, text, or whatever you have access to your county commissioners and ask them to negotiate in good faith. I think 60-40 we can live with, but they get a little bit more. They get 60% instead of 59.5. But how can you come back and offer 37.8?
37.
37.8 is what they offered.
They offered
And then they come back,
37.
you know, the last minute offers 37. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's like, I don't know. I'm very upset about this, but I'm willing to go 60-40 and encourage you to contact your county commissioner and tell them they need to follow suit.
Doug, what was the tally of the vote today?
4-1. Commissioner Johnson voted against their proposal.
And her comment after that?
I did not hear her.
So they weren't even unanimous in their vote this afternoon. Commissioner Johnson did not agree with the other 4.
Commissioner Flowers, I believe you had a word you'd like to share with us. Commissioner Flowers.
Can you come through Zoom?
Okay, can you hear me now?
And we can.
Okay, my apologies, modern technology. So I apologize for not being with you guys this evening. Traffic is a mess, but I didn't want to miss this opportunity to say something. I think I just want to let you guys know that overwhelmingly, I'm just disheartened. I thought that we had spent all of these years building our relationship with the county so that we could navigate these type of situations. That was why we were shoring up our relationship. I think I'm also disheartened by the fact that in these type of negotiations, everyone thinks that they deserve more. You know, I think settled at a reasonable number what we were willing to take, but we settled there not because we didn't think that we deserved more, but because we felt like it was a fair position. And so I think that's one of the things I want to point out is that very much as we've talked about these negotiations, we've maintained this position of where we are. We could have come in from a different angle saying we deserve 75%, or that we deserve 65% or any other number. So I want that to be understood that in the spirit of negotiation, we did not ask for anything additional. We just asked to remain where we were, as that's worked for us for the last decade. And again, I want to commend our staff for representing us well. I don't think it's been an easy position because we have given some very difficult directives in terms of how to represent our feelings about proceeding in the negotiations. Just because I'm not there, and obviously I'm not a voting member tonight, but I can agree with the consensus of 60-40. I don't want to, because I don't think that we deserve any less than we have now. One of the things that I've struggled with through the negotiations, even though the information has been provided, but just my own understanding of why the numbers need to change. You know, again, that information has been provided of the justification, but in that very basic understanding of, you know, explain it to a kindergartner, I'm still very lost at what has changed in the last decade that warrants such a drastic shift in the way that the money is split. And so despite asking for the additional information, it's just one of those, I struggle with still understanding why, even in this 11th hour. So that being said, if the consensus is that 60-40 is a reasonable offer, I understand why we would say that. But I think I've heard the word shocked several times, and I don't even feel shocked. I just feel disheartened because we have, in the last few weeks, undone all of the progress that we've made over this past decade of working through Archway and other community projects and other mutual aid agreements. We've essentially undone all of that because it's gotten nasty and catty and personal and indignant and caustic. And now I wonder, and I'm concerned about how we move forward. Because now when it's not lost and now when it's not SDS, how are we supposed to negotiate basic stuff? Because, you know, we're all human, and after you've talked about me, I don't really want to work with you. And I think on a grand scale, like, people have said things that hurt other people's feelings, and we have somehow gotten out of the human aspect of this. Its numbers they're static and they are what they are, but like, our community is made up of humans. It's made up of people. And I think it was Commissioner McCord that said, like, these are people's lives and it's not just a numerical decision. So I appreciate y'all. Let me, you know, say something even though I'm not there, but I'm just really concerned for our community at this point because there's a lot of division amongst the boards, and that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Flowers. And the consequences are that we, City of Griffin, on our budget on an annual basis, it's about $5.25 million. And for the county, it's about $8 million. We're talking about $13 million, and 40% plus or minus comes from outsiders spending their hard-earned money in our community. And that's going to have to be made up somehow, either through property taxes or through rate increases. It is going to be a nightmare. And for us to be in this position on the final hour of the new year, trying to figure out how to make this work is very, very disappointing. It's very frustrating. And I agree with Commissioner Flowers. We've worked so hard since 2015 to get out of our silos and work together on so many projects, whether it's the airport, whether it's sidewalks, whether it's community trails, parkways. And now we're sitting here that we've got to go back and sing Kumbaya next month at the Griffin Spalding Area Transportation Committee and the Griffin Archway Committee and talk about real issues such as what are we going to do with our correctional institution, spending $60+ million? How are we going to fund that? Which we need to, as a community, come together and discuss those issues moving forward. So it's just, I saw a little joke about a dog chew toy, and if I had a squeaky toy inside me, my dog would gut me too. I feel like I've been gutted by our friends on the other side of the aisle. I'm just completely just disgusted over this whole situation. And I've had many hours of conversations with several of the commissioners over the past weeks. And I just feel just very sad for our community right now. Hopefully.
I hate to bring it up,
Yes,
but all along, I just felt like this has been intentional. I remember a few years back, we were at an Archway retreat with all the leaders of Griffin and Spalding County, the school board, development authority. We all at this table together. And instead of talking about real issues, they were drawing pennies. And what do you see when you see a penny? And they're doing all this hold hands and play games, what you want to be when you get big. And I remember getting up, and everybody can remember this. And I got up and I said, I can't be a part of, we're here on the taxpayers' dime to talk about, you got everybody in the room to talk about the types of things that we got going on right now in our community. And we spend that time not being sincere. We're there to do trivial stuff instead of getting things like this, so you're not waiting until the 11th hour when we started the SDS and the person comes in and says, we're not going to talk about lost. All these chances we have to get this stuff talked about, the uncomfortable conversations no one wants to have, man, your community. See, it's not them against us or us against them. It's all of us against our community. And that is a bad look. That is a real bad look. That's piss poor from the city and the county if we do this to our community. See, some of us are from here, born, bred, raised here, raising your family here, been here all out, and we want the best for our community. There are some of us that may not see it that way. In the words of Mr. Tinsley, contact all your city commissioners, county commissioners, and make sure that they want what's best for our community. See, I can win, I can go off and win, but it's not going to help my community. What's going to help my entire community is what we're supposed to do. And holding hands and not discussing these things and waiting until the 11th hour, that's no good for our community. So I've vowed for a while that I wouldn't be attending any of that kind of stuff if we're not talking about the business of the people. And that's what we got to get back to, is discussing and like Cora said, man, we have all of that, we put all these programs together to make sure that we don't have what we have now. That was the intent of it. And we're gonna bring city and county together, and we're gonna get in one room, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. And now we've lost all of that. And it's gotten, I don't have those large words like Cora, so I'm just gonna say it's gotten real bad, and it's not good for our community.
Ask yourself if your county commission represents you. That's what they were paid to do. Just like we are paid to represent you in the city. And we're doing our best to keep our services, such as they are, intact. But is the county doing the same thing for you? And I don't believe anybody in this room, if you can, please stand up and tell me, is the county commission, your county commissioner doing the best, other than maybe Rita Johnson, but they're doing what's best for you as a taxpayer?
Do we need to, Ms. O'Connor, do we need to rescind the offer or decline the offer, or have we already done that in regards to the?
You have not, so you do need to do
So we
that.
have a motion to decline the
I make a motion.
37% offer from the county. Then we have a motion from Mrs. Murray. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tinsley. All in favor of declining the offer from Spalding County, 37% of the city, please signify your hand. We have 6-0. Do we have a motion to have a counter offer of 40%, 60 for the city, 60% for the county for the next 10 years for loss distribution?
I want you to make that motion, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor.
I'd like to make a motion that we send an offer of 60-40 split. That's 60 for the county, 40% for the county, beginning 2023 through for the next 10 years until the next renegotiation. We have a
I
second.
make a motion.
I have a
Or
motion.
second.
Second by Commissioner Murray. Is there any other discussion? All in favor of expediting this offer to the county so that we can get this done, please signal by raise your hand. We have 6-0. Any other business?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Oh, and also be on standby that we will potentially have another call, an emergency call meeting tomorrow.
One of this offer to be presented to the county.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I had an email from Stephanie Wyndham, the county attorney, while y'all were meeting a few minutes ago. She
yes.
said, if you were to make another offer tonight, if you will fill out the form, certificate form for the revenue department and sign it and send it back to them, that would save you from having to meet again.
Okay, we'll take care of that.
She didn't predict how the county might, whether they take it or reject it, but that'll save you having to meet again tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Whalen. All right, and so be prepared for us to send out a notice of an emergency call meeting tomorrow, possibly to respond.
And once again, just to reiterate, and I'm done, is thanks again to our staff, city manager and city attorney. Thank you, guys.
And Happy New Year. Hopefully we'll have to meet again.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Lawrence, second by Commissioner Murray. All in favor, please leave and go enjoy your families. I was going to buy a happy hour drink at 7, but before